rock stars, blues fans, blues fanatics, blues wannabes, all y'all. Here we go. You ready to do this today, my friends? Eric Andreas, your guitar sage here, and today we're going to be doing the Blues Rhythm Guitar Essentials. This is part one of a two-part series. So today, on Facebook and YouTube, and a little bit on Instagram too, we'll be answering the questions on Facebook and YouTube, but we got Instagram folks hooked up here as well. I'm going to be teaching you how to play, or how to understand blues rhythm guitar. It's super simple. I mean, when I'm done with this, which is going to take about half hour, 40 minutes, something like that, to really go over everything, you will literally be able to play the blues rhythm guitar in any key. You're going to know how to find the chords. You're going to know how to take the chords that you already know and make those seventh chords, which are replete in blues music. You're going to understand the essentials of the 12-bar blues, which is literally the backbone of 99% of all blues, okay? So these two essentials right here are truly going to help you to literally be able to walk away today and play blues in any key, rhythm guitar. And then tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to cover boogie-woogie riffs and blues turnarounds, or boogie-woogie turnarounds, okay? More about those later. We won't talk about those today. Really, we're going to talk about just the chords and the structure of the 12-bar blues. Because like anything, friends, we got to build up. We got to start with a foundation when we're building a house, and then we move up from there. And if our foundation sucks, then we could build the most beautiful castle on top of that poor foundation, and guess what's going to happen? That castle is going to come down, or something bad's going to happen to that castle if that foundation's wrong. So you've got to have a great foundation. More than anything, you've got to have a great foundation. This is why I'm constantly pounding this into you guys. That's why I'm constantly teaching these fundamentals. If you want advanced stuff, I've got plenty of advanced stuff inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. You guys, a lot of you folks are in that already. In fact, if you want to give your testimony, saying amen and all that in the chat, I would love you to do that. That'd be great. Let folks know, because today is the last day that we're doing the offer. We'll put up the link on the screen there. It's Practice August. Okay, so a few orders of business is this link right here. I'm not going to talk about it a whole bunch today. Okay, this is literally your last day for this. If you want nearly 1,000 videos, everything in the Unstoppable Guitar System and everything in 365, there it is right there. The jam tracks that you hear at the beginning of the show, at the end of the show, sometimes that I'm jamming to, that sort of thing. We have nearly 600 of those that we've created that are inside. You can't find them anywhere else. They're inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. So nearly 1,000 videos, 600 jam tracks. You know where to find it. It's Practice August. I'll probably mention it one more time before the end here. What else? Oh, we got an option for a 3-payment deal there. We've been listening to you, and we've got an option for that as well. YourGuitarSage.com/practiceaugust. What else? Oh, if you are watching right now on Facebook or YouTube and you haven't done this already, you really need to click on the link that says PDF. Okay, I've created a 31-page PDF for you for this. So it's chock full of really, really, really good stuff that we're going to be going over today and tomorrow. Okay, if you don't have this, you're missing out on like 75% of what I'm going to be teaching today. Unless you can memorize everything that I'm saying, you really want to get this PDF. So it's in the description of the video. Go there right now. You'll see it. Click on it. It's free. There's nothing. It's no crazy things happening. You're not going to get any sort of pop-ups or anything. You're going to get the PDF. That's how we roll. Okay. So, and what we're going to be going over today is we're going to be going over 12-bar blues and building the seventh chords. Okay. So do that right now while I'm talking here. And for those of you that like to share, if you're a sharer and you're not greedy and you're kind and you like to share, then I'd highly suggest sharing this, and I implore you to share this. And in fact, doing so, even if you are one of these selfish people that don't like to share, then here's something for you. I'm giving away a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365 today, okay? So there, everybody should be sharing this. The selfish and the unselfish should be sharing this right now, okay? Do it on Twitter, do it on Instagram, do it on YouTube, whatever. Share it, because after the broadcast, what we do is we scour the interwebs and we pick one winner, every day now that we're doing these. If you didn't join us for Saturday, we had a blast, my friends. We learned about different ways to practice in the 4 most important areas of guitar. We gave away over $6,000 worth of goodies. We had a blast. So if you don't join us for these live broadcasts, you need to, okay? Because we're having a blast doing them. YourGuitarSage.com/live. And then, of course, on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and what have you. Make sure you hit the notification buttons. Obviously, you should be subscribed or liked, but make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're notified when we go live, okay? All right, without further ado, my friends, we're going to jump into this lesson. You ready? And then I'm going to get to questions afterwards, okay? So you can throw your questions out there right now. I won't be looking at them. I'm looking at the PDF because I'm going to be teaching you right now. Then after that part, then I'll be getting to your questions. We want to drill down and really get those questions answered so that you can move on to those next levels, okay? Before we start, understand that there is no thing that you cannot do on this guitar. I'll say it again, there's nothing that you, personally, you can't not do on this guitar. I don't care if you think your fingers are fat, you think your hands are small, this, that, and the other thing. I've heard all the excuses, and trust me, they're excuses, because when I see a guy with no arms playing with their feet, and I got someone to me saying that their fingers are too fat, come on now, let's get real, okay? Excuses. So we're going to get those excuses out the window. We're going to learn what it is we need to do, and all of a sudden those excuses vanish, and then you are playing like the player that you've always wanted to be. Okay? It doesn't take talent. It has nothing to do with talent. Otherwise, we'd have 3-year-olds being able to play like Hendrix and what have you. It takes practice. It only takes practice. I'll argue it till the day I'm dead because it's only true. Okay? And because if you believe that it's talent is what takes you to be good and you don't have to practice, then you might as well just quit guitar, okay? Because it's all about practice. All right, so without further ado, that should be encouraging you, by the way. It should be encouraging you, not discouraging you, because that means that normal folks like us can be as badass as we want to be on the guitar, okay? Okay, so there's a couple things here that I want to point out to you. This first part here, you can just read it on your own, but basically, it's talking about blues guitar and the 4 things that we're covering. 12-bar blues, building 7th chords. We're doing those 2 today. Tomorrow's boogie-woogie riffs, boogie-woogie turnarounds, okay? Let's talk about the 12-bar blues. I'm not reading this. This is for you. This is so you can look at this later. But essentially, the 12-bar blues is a chord progression, a progression of chords, which is a pattern that chords make. They come in at certain times, they leave at certain times, and other chords come in. That's called a progression. And there's a certain pattern. And when we hear this pattern in a 12-bar section, a bar is a measure of music. So when we do this for 12 measures or 12 bars, and a bar is 4 beats usually, so like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was 2 measures, okay, of 4. Then when we hear this specific set of chords over this 12-bar section, we get the 12-bar blues. Now, this specific chord progression has been done so many times, so many millions of times since the beginning of time, or since people started doing it probably in the, early night, I don't know, a long time ago, 100 years ago at least. Okay, that I can think of. Robert Johnson, guys like that were doing this. The 12-bar blues is so replete throughout music, country, blues, rock. I said blues, yeah. Even jazz. They use the 12-bar blues. They use these chord progressions sometimes, okay? Not as much, but those other genres definitely, okay? And so here's some examples of some songs that use a 12-bar blues. Hound Dog. This is all the same exact chord progression, possibly in different keys, different tempos, different melodies, but bottom line, the chord progression is the same. See, you cannot copyright a chord progression. Dear God, thank you so much. Otherwise, there wouldn't be all the amazing songs that there are in the world, okay? You can copyright a melody. You can't copyright a chord progression. So with that being said, these are songs that have the same chord progression. Hound Dog, Blue Suede Shoes, Jailhouse Rock, Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, Tutti Frutti, Red House, Pride and Joy, Scuttlebutton, Stevie Ray, LaGrange, Tush. There's a million of them, okay? Literally, I could probably name 1,000 or a few hundred extremely popular tunes that literally are just the 12-bar blues. Green Onions, Give Me One Reason, Tracy Chapman. I mean, there's so many, okay? So with that being said, once I show this to you, you're going to start hearing it all of a sudden. You're going to start seeing it more and more, okay? 12-bar blues is made up of the 1-4-5. Okay, what we mean by that is it's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. I'll show you what this means in just a moment. But for instance, here's a 12-bar blues in A, okay? You should be looking at the PDF that you got from the link that's in the description of the video on Facebook and YouTube, okay? If you haven't done it, do it now. 12-bar blues in A. You can see here, there's 4 measures of A7, okay? 2 measures of D7, 2 measures of A7. And then there's what's called the turnaround. The E7, the D7, and the A7, and the E7. That's called the turnaround, the last like 4 measures, if you will, of a 12-bar blues. We're going to talk about that more tomorrow. But there's a real specific structure, and you can see going down here, here's 12-bar blues in E. We got E7, A7, and B7. These are all the 1-4-5 of whatever specific key I'm talking about, in this case, the key of E. And so you'll see there's a lot of 7th chords. Here we have it in the key of G. We've got it in the number system, which we're just talking about 1-4-5, okay? So let's talk about that really quickly, because that is the most important thing. Remember, you're not going to get this all in one fell swoop. You wouldn't expect to eat lunch with 1 bite, eat a sandwich with 1 bite, right? Or a giant plate of spaghetti. You wouldn't expect that. So don't expect to learn guitar that way. No one in the history of ever has ever learned guitar that way or learned it in ginormous bites at once. It's all small bites, digesting, and moving on. If that doesn't work for you, you might want to choose something different than guitar, because that's the only way to learn it. But it's fun if you enjoy the process, okay? So here you go. Here's what 1-4-5 means. We have a scale, right? The major scale. I cover this in the free program. I cover this in the $1 access. You'll see both those links in this PDF. I cover it in UGS. I cover it in a lot of different places. Very, very, very important that you understand how the major scale is constructed. Okay, not right now. We don't have time for it. But suffice to say, the major scale goes like this. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You've heard this scale. It basically is the backbone of 99.9% of all songs that have ever been written since the beginning of time. Okay? It's everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? Now, if we get in the habit of counting this is what's called the number system, or the Nashville number system. It's how Nashville players think, and this is why they're so quick at playing guitar and coming up with different keys, playing all over the neck, that sort of thing, because they're thinking about things in a relative manner as opposed to sharps and flats and A's and B's and this, that, and the other thing. Those are important things to know, but once you know what key you're in, you can just think about the numbers and you can go all over the fretboard and get really good at this and fly, okay? So check this out. Here is the major scale. I'm playing A major, okay? So watch this. You don't know this form. If you want to know this form, if you want to know the construction, if you're not in one of my courses, if you're not taking advantage of the Practice August link today, if you're not getting in the $1 one, then at least get in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, and I'll show you more detail about what we're doing here. But essentially, we have a major scale. Okay, here's A. We know this because E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. I teach that in the free course as well. Okay, so that's an A. And now if we follow this pattern, we get the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, at the 4th position, I'm using fingers 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's major scale. So what we're doing is we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Super easy. If you can count, you can do this. It's not that hard. Now here's the deal. There are 3 chords represented in the 12-bar blues. There's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. And basically those are chords based off of these bass notes. So we got 1. We're going to go up to 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a D. This was an A, by the way. We said that. We were in the key of A. And we're going to go up to the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know it by counting through the scale. This note here is the 4. It's also known in the key of A as the D. Okay? Now if we go to the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That note right there is the 5. Okay? In the key of A, it happens to be the E chord. Okay? So here's our 1. Here's our 4. Here's our 5. Okay, it's super easy. Now if we wanted to do this in any key, does not matter. The only thing you got to do is move this thing down. This is where I've said you would literally be able to play the 12-bar blues in any key when we're done. Watch this. We're going to take this same form. Watch how difficult this is. I'm going to change keys. Here I go. There I go. I've changed keys. How hard is that? Super easy. We take the same exact form and we just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 1 is our G chord. The 4 chord is our 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a C. A sharp, B, C. So it's a C. And the 5 is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a D because we have C, C sharp, D. So the 12-bar blues in G is a G, or the 1, 4, 5 in the key of G is a G, a C, and a D. Okay, and you can move this form up and down the neck. Whatever your 1 is going to be the key that you're in. That's literally how easy this is going to be to do. Okay, now you know what the bass notes are. If you're in the key of A, it's this note, and this note. You don't even need to know the name. The only thing you have to know is where to find the 1, 4, 5. Because I can go, I don't know what chord that is, but I can still form a 4 chord over it. Or if I say this is the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can still form a 5 chord over it if we know how to play a major chord or a 7th chord. Okay. So you got that. You've got how to figure out where the 1, 4, 5 is at. Now, of course, we're not playing up here on the neck all the time, so it's nice to put stuff in the open position. So for instance, if I'm on the A, and I know that's the 1, then I'm going to play an A chord. If I play, we'll see what the 4 is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a D. Then I can play that open D. It makes sense as opposed to this guy, which is harder to play. And then the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is an E. And instead of playing it up here, I try to keep it open. So if you can keep the chords open, that's a good thing. Okay. If we did this in the key of E, then basically our notes would be E, A, and B. And so our chords would be E, A, and B. Here's our 1, our 4, and our 5. Okay, so we got a bar chord there. Sometimes you can't escape that. But we could also play a B7, as you're going to see later on. Okay, so now you found out how to find what the 1, 4, 5 is. Okay, now what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to play a chord there. Essentially, you can just play a major chord there, but it's not going to sound very bluesy. Here's what the 12-bar blues might sound like if I was just using open chords. So. If I add a 7th to each one of those chords, as I'm going to show you here in just a minute, you get a different sound. E7, D7, A7. Make sense? Adjusting my microphone. Thank you. So, important that we understand how to create 7th chords. Now, if you don't know how to do this already, you're getting ready to have your chord vocabulary doubled with one little tiny little tweak. okay? You know me, this is how I think about everything. It's like, let's figure out how to take one thing, one hack, one little twist of a knob or a flip of a switch that all of a sudden creates a lot more for us. And so, understanding how to create seventh chords instead of having to sit there and memorize rote chords. I know this chord and I know that chord and this chord looks like that. Once we start learning a little bit of music theory, you literally will be unlocking music, and then it just opens up for you. Okay, but if you're constantly thinking, I don't want to learn that, I just want to learn the chord. Okay, it's not the easier way. That's the harder way. So if you like the harder way, then do that. Keep doing that, and 50 years from now, you'll still be memorizing things. Or just learn these basic things, and you're going to make life so much easier. All of life works that way. You eat well, you're going to have a lot better time than if you eat crap all the time, right? You can go your whole life eating crap, and you're going to pay for it, okay? Not because someone's punishing you, it just is, right? So same thing with guitar. If you learn these bits, you're going to get great. If you don't learn these bits, you'll be whatever you are, not great. Okay, so got to learn how to play these seventh chords, okay? Sorry, I gotta throw a PSA in there every now and then for doing the right thing and eating right and playing right. Okay, so you're gonna look over all this stuff later on. Okay, so you got the 12-bar blues there. You'll notice that there's a number system 12-bar blues for those that just joined us. I'm looking at the PDF that can be found on Facebook and YouTube. There's a link there. Click that and download it, because we're using it a lot today and all tomorrow, because tomorrow's the part 2 of this. The Blues Rhythm Essentials Part 2 is tomorrow, where I'll be teaching you boogie woogie riffs and boogie woogie turnarounds, okay? So now I'm at the chapter, first, before I'm at building seventh chords, we're going to go back up to 12-bar blues number system. You see a bunch of numbers there, 1, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7. And what that is the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. That little 7 that you see there basically means play a 7th chord version of that, also known as a dominant 7th chord. We'll talk about that construction and how to figure that out here right now, okay? So that small 7 means dominant 7th or 7th chord. Good, there's a fly in the studio. I love when that happens. Keeps me on my toes. Not really. I don't like it. Okay, building 7th chords. So I won't read this. This is for you to read later on, but you're going to see a bunch of diagrams that show you how to find 7th chords. And specifically here, what we're going to be talking about is dominant 7th chords, also known as a 7. Okay? There's major 7, there's minor 7, there's dominant 7th. But most people don't call it a dominant 7th, they just call it a 7 chord. So if someone says play an A7, what they mean is play an A dominant 7th. If they wanted you to play an A minor 7th, they would have to say play A minor 7th. If they didn't tell you that, then they're mistaken, not you. So again, if I want you to play a dominant 7th chord, I might say play a dominant 7th chord, A dominant 7th, but usually I'll say play an A7. If I wanted you to play an A minor 7, I would say play an A minor 7. If I wanted you to play an A major 7, then you would play, I would say A major 7, or be A with a triangle 7, okay? Otherwise, it'll be the letter name of the chord and the number 7. That means to play that chord, okay? It's called the dominant 7th. So in this building 7th chords chapter, you're going to see building dominant 7th chords, minor 7th chords, and major 7th chords. You can ignore the minor and major 7ths for the purposes of what we're doing today, but it's a good lesson, so I would suggest going through it, okay? Okay, now you're going to see that basically I've got the actual formations of the chord, like what that means, okay? And let's see, we're going to start with, well, I'll tell you what, we're only going to do, we're not going to look at the other ones, we're just going to do the dominant 7th chord. And you're going to find that, I think, well, let's see here, hold on. You're looking at the PDF right here, my friends. And I may even just skip it here. I might just tell you what we're doing here instead of doing it, you know. Okay, yeah, here we go. So dominant 7th, okay, it's the 3rd or 4th chord in, something like that. You're going to see it here. It says dominant 7th at the top of the page, and it says, for example, A7 or A7. Okay. The formation of the dominant 7th chord is a 1, 3, 5, flat 7. What are you talking about, Eric? I'm talking about the same numbers that we just pulled from the major scale. Remember I said the major scale is really important? This is why. It's because we use it for music theory all the time. If we're a carpenter, we're going to have a yardstick or a tape measure. They're going to use that all the time, right? Measure twice, measure thrice, cut once, I think it is. You always want to measure. So that's our measuring stick is the major scale because it helps us understand what's going on. So if we want to memorize dominant seventh chords for the rest of our lives, you can do that. It'll be a shortcut for learning one chord. It'll be the super long cut. It'll be the super long way of doing things if you don't learn what I'm telling you right now. So learn what I'm telling you right now. Okay, stick with me here. So watch this. A dominant seventh chord is the 1, 3, 5, flat 7 from the major scale. You play those notes together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we want to flatten that 7. So the 1, the 3, the 5, the flat 7. If we throw those 3 notes together into a chord, then we get a dominant seventh chord. Okay? Now, the way that I just spelled that out, you're not going to be able to play everything in a very comfortable way. So what we want to do is we want to get accustomed to taking the major chords that we know already, any major chord. You can do this any major, any minor chord. In fact, from this lesson right here, you'll be able to quadruple your chord vocabulary because you're going to be able to play minor sevenths, major sevenths, and dominant sevenths. Right? Yeah, sure. You'll be able to quadruple your chord vocabulary from that one chapter. But really the only thing we're going to worry about is dominant seventh right now. So let's talk about that. We need to take our major chords and make them a dominant seventh. I promise you this is super easy. Don't go away. Watch. Here we go. To create a dominant seventh chord out of a major seventh, the only thing you need to know is know where the octave is. Okay, and I'll tell you what that is in just a moment. And then lower it by 1 whole step. Add that note to the chord and you have a dominant seventh chord. Okay, let's go over this a few different ways. So the octave is, when we talk about an octave, we're talking about the same note but up higher or down lower. But in this case, we're talking about higher. So for instance, if this is the 1, and I'm playing the scale, and I go through the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8th note, oddly enough, is called the octave, right? Like octopus, 8 arms, right? Or octagon, 8 sides, or, you get the idea, 8, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, these notes, this note and this note, are the same letter. They're both A's, okay? Same thing if I do this. If I go up another octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's up an octave also. See how that works? This is an A, this is an A, all A's. And so they're all octaves away from each other, okay? Now, in order to create that dominant seventh chord, like I said, we're going to find an octave, so one that's higher up, and we're going to lower it by a whole step. It's usually the same note every time. There's your hint, okay? So for instance, if I have this major chord here, A major, I'll show this to you with open chords and bar chords, okay? So here's our bar chord. It's okay if you don't play a bar chord. You'll be able to do it with these open chords. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the long way. Here's the short way. If this is your 1, you're going to go down 2 strings, up 2 frets, and you're going to find your octave. That works for both the 6th and 5th strings. Okay? I'll show you that a few times here throughout this. So here's our A. I'm going to go down 2 strings, 1, 2. In fact, let's do this. Let's zoom in here. Here's our A. I'm going to go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and up 2 frets, 1, 2. That's an octave. So basically, according to my rule, we should lower this 1 whole step. This is a half step, this is a whole step, okay? 1 fret is the distance of a half step, 2 frets is the distance of a whole step, okay? So, if we take an A major chord, there it is. Here's our octave, A, A. Our pinky is that higher octave, okay? So you right there. So we need to bring that guy down a whole step. So in order to do that, to bar it. Now we're playing it right there in that open position. Okay, and we can move this up and down the fretboard. So essentially, if you learn that one little trick just now, you've learned 12 new chords. Okay, because you can just take that A7, you can make it a B7, C7, D7, D flat 7, A sharp 7, doesn't matter. It's all the same, just whatever your bass note is, okay? It's all 7th chords. So we can do this with open chords too. If we have this open A chord, then here's our A on the 5th string. And then if we go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and up 2 frets, 1, 2, then we got another A, okay? And that's the guy we're gonna lower a whole step. So this is a half step, this is a whole step, so we'll play the 3rd string open. So instead of playing our A like this, we're gonna play this. And that's our A7 chord, right? Same thing with a D. Let's take a D chord. Here's our D. Now with the 4th string, you're gonna go down 2 strings, up 3 frets, okay? Because this string is tuned down a half step low. It has been for a few hundred years, so just get used to it. It's tuned down a half step low. So what you're going to do is you're going to play that D, and you're going to go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and then up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, and that's a D. So here's our D chord, right? Okay. So we said in order to make a dominant 7th chord or a 7 chord, we need to take this note and drop it down 1 whole step. So here's a half step, here's a whole step. So it needs to be that note, which means our fingering is going to need to change. So we'll do it like this. Okay. A lot of these are covered in the 9 essential chords that I talk about all the time that are in the free program, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay. So there's our dominant 7th chord. Let's try it with one other. Let's try it with the E chord, since we're going to be doing the 12-bar blues here in A. So here is E major. Okay, watch this. Here's our E. It's the letter name of the chord. It's almost always the lowest note as well. So here's our low E. And then if we go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and up 2 frets, 1, 2, then that is our octave. Both E's, low E, middle E, okay, or a higher E. Now, in order to make this a dominant 7th chord, we said we need to drop this one note back how far? I'm asking. I don't hear you. Okay, there you go. A whole step, right? Okay, here's a half step, here's a whole step. So basically, instead of playing our E major chord, we're playing an E7 chord. That's how we're going to play our 7th chord. That's how we're going to come up with our 7th chords, okay? Now, here's the deal. You can do this with any chord from here on out. If you need some help with this, if you didn't quite get it, we got to keep moving on because we got questions and that sort of thing. But we got to keep moving on. But that's why I've created this PDF for you. For those that have just joined us, for those on Instagram, where I won't be answering questions today, but I will be on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure that you go to Facebook and YouTube, click on that PDF link, because I created this document for you so that you can walk away with this and learn this stuff. Hopefully you get it from just me telling you, but there's a lot more information inside that PDF. So pour over this when we're done. Make sure you understand this concept, because literally you'll at least double your chord vocabulary overnight. But realistically, if you follow the other 3 chords that I mentioned there, other 2 or 3 chords, then you literally will be quadrupling your chord vocabulary with one little trick. Okay, and you can almost always find that octave down 2 strings on that form. Okay, all right. So let's move on. Now we know what the A7, the D7, and the E7 should look like. Okay. Now let me show you another little trick here. This is for those folks that didn't listen to me at all just now and they just wanted to learn how to play the chords. So with the 2nd and 3rd finger, 2nd on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, you're gonna strum strings 5 through 1. That's an A7. Now watch what a D7 looks like, because you're going to be leading with this finger every single time for all 3 chords. Watch this. Super easy. Here's the D7. Watch how difficult. Then you got to put this 1st finger down on the second, or on the first fret of the second string. So I'll show you that again because I know it was very difficult. So here's an A7. Now watch. You better watch, because this is I ain't playing around here. Watch this. That's it. A7 to D7. It's not hard. So this is how I want you to think when you're changing chords. I want you to think, well, that's easy. This, and well, now what does the D7 look like again? Oh yeah, this guy goes here, this guy goes here, and this guy goes here. Well, that's going to take longer than you just doing this, right? You learn that little bit right there. And then so this guy comes here, add the first finger, bam. That's a D7. Okay. Now this guy that we're looking at right here looks an awful lot like the E7 as well. So the only thing we need to do for that is lift, and the second and first finger are going to go down. Second finger's on the second fret of the fifth string, first finger's on the first fret of the third string. So you're going to strum all 6 strings. And by the way, the D7, you're strumming the bottom 4 strings. Technically, you could strum the fifth string and it'll still work. It'll make it an inversion, but that's okay. And then the E7 is where I mentioned it, all 6 strings. So if you just want to know those chords, that's A7, D7, and E7. And that's how we're going to play the 12-bar blues, in this case in the key of A7. Okay, so looking at the PDF that you can find in the description of the video, we're bumping up now to the 12-bar blues in A. Okay, now we're not going to learn any fancy, we're not going to learn all that stuff yet. Only thing we're going to learn is basic chords today. Tomorrow I'm going to show you the fancy stuff. Tomorrow I'm going to show you the boogie woogie riffs, the boogie woogie turnarounds. It'll be fun, okay? So A7, this is how I want you to think about this. We're going to start off beginner, real beginner level, and then we're going to work up here, okay? And then we're going to get to questions here in just a moment. So you see that A7 all the way across. It says, or the second measure, it says, or D7. And then it says 2 measures of D7, 2 measures of A7, 1 measure of E7, 1 measure of D7, 2 measures of A7, or you can throw an E7 at the end if you're really fancy pants, which we are. So we're going to do that. We're going to do the simple one at first, but technically this is how we're going to count it. We're going to go, for every time you see a chord, you're going to strum on the 1 and count to 4, and then you're going to strum again on the 1 and count to 4. So it's going to go like this: 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now the D7. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. E7, 2, 3, 4. D7, 2, 3, 4. A7, 2, 3, 4. E7, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So, with the exception of the last chord that I changed at the end there, that's the simple version. Now, if this is too fast for you, then slow it down. Only thing we care about is accuracy. Speed is something that happens because you do something more and more and more, and you get better and better and better at it. It's not something that you get, I want to do fast today, and then you get to do fast. You earn fast. It doesn't just come to you because you want to do it. You earn it. So you got to start it slow. You always start it slow, and then you build up, okay? So starting off on that A7, if it's too fast what I just did for you, switching chords, then just slow it down. Okay, so I'm going to slowly complicate this for those of you that are, upper level, and we're getting more complex here. Okay, so now if we can count like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this time I'm also going to complicate the chords. I'm going to put the A7, D7 in there. So 1. So it's at the top of 12-bar blues. You ready? This is in A too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, D7, 2, 3, A7, 1, 2, 3, again, 1, 2, 3, D7, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, A7, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, E7, 1, 2, 3, 4, D7, A7, E7, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for those of you that's too much, don't complicate the chords like I did. Take it slower. Okay, now if we want to get even fancier with it, we can add a shuffle to it. A shuffle is kind of like, I think about it like skipping down the road. Essentially, it's kind of a broken up triplet is what it is. So a shuffle is going to sound like this. And so you can think about this like long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. That's how long the beat is, okay? A simple way of saying it. Or just do it with me. So we got down, up strum here. A straight strum is like this. A shuffle is, so it's still the same tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or shuffle 2, 3, 4. Make sense? So it's the same tempo. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same tempo, right? We're just shuffling it, which gives it this kind of just a cool feel. Okay, so that's what a shuffle is. Again, I think I covered that in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. If you're not going to take advantage of Practice August today, which is going away at midnight tonight, if you're not going to take advantage of that, friends, right there, it's basically $199 for everything that I've done inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System, the ebooks, 365, live broadcasts from me twice a month where it's only those in the program, not everybody else in cyberspace. You really get to have more personal attention, that sort of thing. Daily emails where we're responding back and forth. We're literally talking. You and I are talking about, oh, hey, I'm having this issue, that sort of thing. So if you want that, take advantage of this. Only if you're serious about learning guitar. I understand some folks it's just a hobby, or they're fine with just kind of being mediocre and they don't want to improve any more than they are. That's totally okay. We all have different places in life. So if that's not you, then don't go to this. If this is you, if you're serious about guitar, then go to that, because this is going away at midnight tonight. Otherwise, at least take advantage of my free program. Okay? And by the way, you can get to the $1 offer there too. So for those that are like, man, I'm just new to this, Eric, and I think you're cool. I like your hair, but I don't completely trust you yet. Fine, that's okay. Okay? I don't trust everybody I meet either right away. So go to Practice August. There is a $1 option that'll let you test drive the whole enchilada for $1 for 30 days. If you don't like it, then you can get out before the 30th day and you've only spent $1. Otherwise, whatever you sign up with, that's what will take effect. If you do the one-time offer or 3 or monthly or the 3 payments, whatever you sign up for is what will happen, okay? So, again, if you haven't done that, Practice August. If you're not planning on it, then at least do the $1 offer. If you're not going to do that, then at least do the free one, YourGuitarSage.com/30, okay? And I'll show you about how to do the shuffle and some of these other stuff that we're talking about. Hey, there's the link right there, YourGuitarSage.com/30, okay? Cool. All right, so we're shuffling it now. Now we can change the tempo to this, right? We can go. We can also do different versions of chords. So we can start really making this fun, you know. So we can really complicate it, and we will be complicating it more tomorrow, okay? But let's cover this one other thing here that I want to show you, which is basically like if you wanted to play this in a different key, you easily could do it. So we got the 12 bar blues down here by following the chart, right? We could also play it up here using our bar chords, right? Well, guess what? If we can do it in one key, we can do it in all keys. We just take the exact same thing and move it. So here we are in A. If I wanted to play it in G, I come down here. Okay, I'm adding some embellishments and what have you, but bottom line, We're talking 1-4-5, but in the key of G. Okay, so super easy. You can do this, my friends. Now, I know that I threw a lot at you there in 50 minutes or 46 minutes here, and but that's why I've got the PDF for you. Okay, we're getting ready to answer questions if you don't feel it coming. All right, so really for today, you should at least go through the first 2 chapters. The first one's 12-bar blues to give you the basic idea of the construction. But once we have that, it would be a good idea for us to learn how to create 7th chords so that we can do this in all keys. If not, if you just want to do it the rote way, do it the hard way, and just memorize the chords, then do that too. That's fun too. Nothing wrong with that. I like hard work. I like easy work too. So that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to also go through the Building the 7th Chords chapter, which is some stuff that's really going to massively expand your chord vocabulary. In fact, it'll quadruple your chord vocabulary if you're just used to playing open chords, okay? Tomorrow we're going to cover boogie-woogie riffs and boogie-woogie turnarounds, but right now I'm going to get to your questions, all right? And real quick, as a reminder, some lucky gal or guy is going to win a lifetime membership, the one that I've sold since the day I was like 2. Now, we've been selling it for quite a while here, and it keeps building. We add an hour of new material every single month. In fact, I just did a whole series yesterday on finger picking. Okay, so we're giving one of these away today. It's a $400 value. We just added 365 into it, like another 365 videos, daily practice routine. If you don't know what to practice, it's broken up into 7 different chapters, 7 different days of the week, and graduates 52 times, 52 weeks of the year. So by the end of the year, you went from absolutely simple stuff to you're insane. You're a ninja. And in 1 year time, right? Anybody can do 1 year practice. So somebody's going to win that today. Both of those together, along with the jam tracks, lifetime membership, live broadcasts from me twice a month, that sort of thing. Okay, and that's going to be picked from somebody who has shared this on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all those places. Do it, okay, right now. And again, that's only if you're a sharing person. But if you're a selfish person, which covers everybody in the room, so everybody should be sharing this thing, then those people, even the people that aren't selfish, someone's going to win this thing, okay? So please do that. Let the folks know that we're learning guitar here, and we got a great community. We're having fun, okay? All right, without further ado, let's jump over to some questions. And this time, I'm going to start on... What am I going to start with? Facebook, okay? That's what we start with. Okay, and I'm going to go backwards because I don't see any questions right off the top. But oh, and by the way, friends, please put a question mark, okay? And in the meanwhile, for those folks, oh, look, so much. Thank you. Look at all these folks in their UGS. Oh, Andrew just got into UGS. Nice. Love it, Andrew. A lot of folks in there already and giving their testimonies. Thank you so much. That I really, truly appreciate that. Thank you, Barbara Mankey. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so no questions here. It's looking like on Facebook, or at least that I can see right now, so no question marks. Someone's saying, tomorrow? Aren't these always Thursday? Kurt, we're doing Wednesday and Thursday now, so hopefully you're here. We're trying to do every Wednesday and Thursday, okay? All right, no questions that I'm seeing on Facebook. Get your questions ready on Facebook, though, because I'm getting ready to do that here in a minute, just after YouTube just scrolls like crazy here in a minute, and I'll get to one of these. All right, wow. YouTube is spinning. Gotta wait for this to slow down. Lots and lots of questions, or at least lots of comments. Okay, get those questions ready on Facebook, or on Facebook and on YouTube. I don't know why. It's just literally. Okay, so here we go. So someone got into the 30, and that really helped. Nice. What about arpeggios? Wolf is saying. Wolf, what about arpeggios? I got lots of videos for that. What I'm going to start doing a little bit more, just because we're getting a lot more people in the room, guys, is I'm going to try to stick more to the subject matter that we're talking about. And if I have videos for something else, then I'm going to refer you to this. So Wolfman, yes. I've got lots of videos for arpeggios. On YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage Arpeggios. Obviously, inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, the one that we've massively discounting today, or you got the dollar offer, either one of those, I have lots of bits about arpeggios. Just in the upper left-hand corner, type in arpeggios if you're in there already. YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage Arpeggios. I've got sweep arpeggios and otherwise. But I won't go into all that because really I could spend a long time talking about that. Okay, check out those videos for a much more detailed version of what I could do here today with you. Okay, great question. Jennifer, what are you sharing? You're sharing the broadcast. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, then I can't help you because it's too much to teach you right now. But yes, do that. Share it. That's what we want to do. Okay. There's been a discussion of strings here on the chat. Can you discuss them? Jimmy is saying. Okay, so let me tell you what I know about guitar strings, okay? There are nylon strings, and there are electric guitar strings. There are acoustic strings. You don't want to use nylon strings on acoustics. You don't want to use acoustics on nylons. Technically, there are electric guitar strings. Some can be used on acoustics as well, but really you want to use like a nickel. That's what most guitar strings are made out of, is nickel. But look for electric guitar strings. Just make sure you're not putting acoustic strings on your electric. In regards to thicknesses and that sort of thing, go with what's comfortable. People say, well, Stevie played 11s. Well, Stevie practiced his ass off and practiced probably 16 hours a day. So unless you're practicing 16 hours a day, those 11 strings aren't going to help you. They're not going to make you any better. So don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. You're not going to sound more like Stevie at all. Not one teeny tiny iota is it going to make you sound like more like Stevie at all. So don't worry about what Stevie played. Play what you play, okay? Because Billy Gibbons plays 8s, I think. Pretty sure he plays 8s, which is a lot thinner of a string. And Billy Gibbons is a badass blues player. So don't worry about that, the thickness. Go with what's comfortable, what can you bend, what feels good, what sounds good to you. Do some experimenting. And as far as the brand names, I was talking to several luthiers here in town in Nashville, where these guys should know, and they say there's really truly, at least last time I spoke to someone, which was about a year ago about it, is that there's really only 3 guitar string manufacturers. All those other manufacturers that you're saying are buying from those 3. I don't know how that works. Do some Google searching on it. It didn't bother me enough to dig into it. I just know every set of electric strings I put on my guitar pretty much sound the same. So people really drill down and waste a lot of time on specifics of those things when in reality they're making it up in their head. Either that or after 35 years of playing, I still don't know what Ernie Ball or D'Addario or Boomers sound like, okay? They just sound like new guitar strings. So, you know, if we could take the time, same amount of time that we deliberate over little things that don't matter like that in life and focus on things like playing and practice and that sort of thing, you'll be so much better off. I'm not getting ugly, I'm just being serious. Like, I'm serious because I'm like, don't worry about that stuff. Get on to the good stuff, okay? People tell me to play a major chord, minor. Minor chords is that. People tell me to play major chord, minor. Minor chords is that concept. I don't know what that means. You'll have to rephrase that, please. How do I get my finger technique down? Jennifer, start with the exercises that I have in the free program, YourGuitarSage.com/30. If you're not going to get into the mammoth course, the mammoth course, not the mammoth course, okay? Start with those finger techniques. If you don't want to have this course that I've done for free that will literally take you from 0 to being a great player for free, then keep searching on YouTube. But I do have stuff on YouTube, but like I said, that's not the way to go. If on YouTube you can type in Your Guitar Sage technique, but you'll practice exercise 1 that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. For me to properly show that to you, Jennifer, it would take about 20 minutes. Okay, so watch that video. Eric, do you know that your live on your .com is not working for this live session? Yes, Scott, we don't have it over there. We just have it on Facebook and YouTube right now. Thank you for letting me know. Yes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why not 6 pay for UGS? Why not 6 pay UGS? Please for us broke guys. Jeff, here's the deal. I do lots of stuff for broke guys. This weekend I gave away $6,000 worth of stuff for broke guys. I have a course that literally, if you visited me here in Nashville, would cost $1,000 to sit in front of me and learn the same stuff. I'm giving that course to you, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Not only am I doing that, I'm literally letting you test drive 1,000-something videos, 600 jam tracks for $1. Not only that, I've got 1,000-something free videos on YouTube. So I got plenty of stuff for broke guys. I got a free ebook. I'm doing 3 to 4 hours of live broadcasts in the next 2 days. So I've got tons of free stuff for you, Jeff. Tons. Take advantage of it. I just got an electric guitar. I don't have an amp. I use an audio interface to connect the guitar to my laptop, and I use an amp simulator software like GigRig. Will I get a good quality sound? If you can tweak well, yeah, you'll get a great sound. I'm adding Stormy Monday to my repertoire. Ninth chords are a bit of a struggle to get any better. Any tips on forming the chords smoother? Phil. Phil, every new chord that you add, you're doing some different things with your fingers, right? So it's always going to be new. It's just like eating a new thing of food, a new whatever. You're eating new food. It's always going to taste different. Do you know why that is? Because it's new, because you hadn't tried it before. So it's always going to taste different. There's tannins and all sorts of little things in that food that make it taste a certain way. And if you hadn't had that combo, you're not going to know what it's like. So the only way for you to get used to it is to do it. So there is no other tip to play ninth chords other than to play ninth chords. There really is not. Anybody telling you anything else is wasting your time, because you practice what it is that you're bad at, not an exercise to get you there. Now in the beginning I have you do exercises because it keeps you out of trying to sound musical, because in the beginning if you sound musical but you've got bad technique, you might think you're doing the right thing. Once I can get you beyond that, okay, really have to use this technique, then you can start getting musical, and I try to get you out of exercises. Unless you're doing something like 365 where we have a real specific point in mind where we're trying to get you from here to there, okay? Make sense? What is the best electric metronome? Oh, there is no best. There's just what's best for you. So there's a lot of different kinds. Honestly, Justin Sandico has a great metronome that you can download for your phone. It's like $3 or something, and it's called like the Rhythm Master or something or another, and I have it. In fact, I was going to design it, and he beat me to it. It's called Time Trainer, and it's awesome. And you can slow it down, speed it up. It's great. So get that one. I highly suggest that one. Okay? Okay. Great. What do you think about an amp simulator software? Do you use any? Yes, indeed. This right here. In essence, is amp simulating software. It comes in the form of an amp by the name of Kemper, which is a high-end version of that, and it's also in an amp, if you will. It has an amplifier in it so that it amplifies the speakers, but essentially the way you're using the words, Ron, is what you mean is, you know, an amp simulator doesn't have an actual amp that's creating the overdrive and the tubes and that sort of thing. And so essentially this is the same thing, but it also has an amp power section where I can drive speakers. But the sound's going to be the same whether I put my headphones on or run it through speakers. But I love them, and they've really gotten a lot better over the years. I've got lots of tube amps, love tube amps, and all the rest, but this is so much more versatile. The software is so much more versatile. Okay. All right, great. Could you please re-explain how to find the octave in regards to the B string? I don't quite get it. Yes, Celeste. So you'll notice that the guitar is tuned in fourths, meaning let's do this, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's an E. And if I go to the fourth note on the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, also known as a fourth or a perfect fourth, then that gives us an A. And the next string is an A. And if I start on that A and I do the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, I find a D. And that's the fourth note, or perfect fourth, and that next string should be a D. And I do this on the D string, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a G. And so there's a G. I should find that there, right? It's the G. And then if I go on the G string, I go up 4. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next string should be a C. But it's not, okay? Because that one string is tuned to a major third. It's tuned a half step low. Instead of a perfect fourth, it's a major third. Do not try to change your guitar to being perfect fourths all the way across. You're going to wish you never had done it. There's a reason that a few hundred years ago they did this. They did that one little tweak. It's so you can play all sorts of really cool chords, okay? So you wouldn't be able to play bar chords and everything else that you try to do doing what I'm talking about here, okay? So the reason that we do this is that B string is tuned down a half step. So we have to compensate. We have to play whatever we want to play up a half step higher than what we normally would do. So if we're on the G here, and this works now, watch this. This works for 6th and 5th string. So here we are at the 6th string. If I go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and up 2 frets, 1, 2, then I get the octave. It works the same way every time, whether I'm going up or down. If I do this on the 5th string, I do the same thing. Here's a C. I'm going to go down 2 strings, 1, 2, up 2 frets, 1, 2. There's our octave. Now, if I do this right here on the F, okay, and I go down 2 strings, 1, 2, this time I have to go up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, because that B string is tuned down a half step. Make sense? It's tuned down a half step. So you have to compensate. Same thing with the 3rd string. So 4th string and 3rd string. That's it. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, good, good. All right, so now that's what we said about octaves, right? Somebody had that, right? Can you explain the octaves, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Exercise for someone who's just starting to play the guitar. Just 3 weeks ago, Carlos, listen to me. I'm looking straight in your ocular sockets, Carlos. YourGuitarSage.com/30. And anybody who likes the guitar, you're here, you got to be liking the guitar. If you haven't gone through the free course, friends, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You're cheating yourself. I'm giving it to you, okay? If you want to pay money, I got courses you can pay money on. If it's that you want to pay money, okay? I got plenty of stuff that you can do. Otherwise, it's really, truly important that you do this free course. Carlos, that's where you want to find those exercises, okay? They're in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Everybody do it. Go there if you haven't seen it already. Rodney, no, we just started with Q&A, so you're good, you're good. Can you recommend ways to develop pinky strength other than while practicing guitar? Ray, yeah, you can take some putty in your hand and massage that putty. You can also take, I forgot what they're called, but they're these like Chinese therapeutic balls, and they make a cool noise when you rotate them. They're like made of steel. You can do those. Oh, sorry, we're in a different angle here. Sorry about that. I don't know how long I was like that. Okay, so that's what you can do. Is you can use those or putty or something like that. Okay. Okay. Great. A Kemper is high on my list. I take it you really like it. JR, I've had every amp there is known to man. Okay. I've owned many amps in my life, and yes, I absolutely love it. It is my favorite. I love just plugging into an amp too and being able to tweak things very quickly, but the way this is set up, I can tweak things very quickly as you can without having your pedal board right there in an amp where you can twist stuff. So it's a little bit slower in regards to, okay, I might have to drill down to a menu or something every now and then, but this thing has like, I'm looking at it, probably 18 knobs on it and 20 something buttons, so you can get to everything pretty quickly. It's not like you have to go drill down in menus. So the reason that I like it is that the sound's amazing. The reason that people don't like those a lot of times is you have to drill down in menus instead of being creative and hitting a knob and doing what you want to do. This is the best of both worlds. I absolutely love it. Okay, great. Yeah, very high on my list. You will not regret it at all. What are the P, I, and M under the tab with straight upward arrows above them on tabs? P, I, and M is probably doing something that's finger picking. P is your thumb, I is your index finger. You can think about this like pick or plectrum. I is your index finger, that's easy. M is for the middle finger, okay? And A is for annular. You can think about that like your ring finger, like anniversary, A. Okay, I'm only looking for things with I'm only looking for what am I looking for? Question marks, right? Tom is saying $1 isn't free. I know it's cheap, but by principle, it's a lie. I know. I 100% agree with you, Tom. That's why I never call the $1 course free. That's why I'm saying YourGuitarSage.com/30 is free because it costs $0. So I 100% agree with you, Tom. Listen, Tom. Listen, Thomas. Listen. Thank you. Yes, I know I was zoomed. Yes. So I have a free course, Tom, and then I have a $1 course. And that $1 course is taking me, just the time that it's taken to put together, it's taken me about 6 years of full out. If you can imagine whatever job you've been working at for 40 hours a week, it's taken me 6 years to build it the way it is now. So it's gigantic, and that's why I charge $1. Okay. Otherwise, if you want free, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Cool. Cool. All right. Can we play blues on a Les Paul? Indeed. They're meant for that, right? Or any other guitars which is famous for shredding. Blues, there's the Stratocaster, and there's the Les Paul, and there's the Telecaster too, you know? Okay. Excellent. Yes, and the free is forever, Tom. It's forever. Yeah, makes sense? Okay, any advice for embellishments and melodies? No problem, Tom. No big deal, bro. Any advice on embellishments and melodies while playing rhythm? Any advice on embellishments and melodies while playing rhythm? Kwam, that is a really broad question, so we would need to define it more, you know, in regards to like genre and that sort of thing. However, if you're talking melodies while you're playing chords, I have something that would take 20 minutes for us to talk about, so I won't go into it, but I'll refer you to a video. It may be in the free course, but it's definitely on YouTube. It's definitely in UGS, and it's called chord noodling. It's just a term that I've come up with, so you're probably not going to see a lot of that on the internet. It's just called chord noodling. It's when you take a chord and you do stuff like... that sort of thing. Does that make sense? So you're playing a chord, but you're playing some melodies there too. But there's some rules to it, so you got to know it. Okay. All right. I'm going to bump back over to Facebook really quickly to see if there's any questions there. Okay. Hey Eric, what defines a blues song? Is it the rhythm or the notes, chords used? Andrew, just like anything, you know, we've got blues country, blues rock, blues jazz, jazz blues, those sorts of things. Blues jazz odyssey. Like in Spinal Tap, there's all sorts of bits and pieces, right? So really, blues is a combination of different things that give it that bluesy sound. So you could be, you know, far blues, and then you could be moving over into one of the other genres. But it's not just the rhythm, it's not just the chord progression, although the chord progression has a lot to do with it. It's not just the notes, it's everything. But here are some of the things that define it. Yes, 12-bar blues. Almost all blues is based off of some sort of progression. I mean, there's more than just the 12-bar blues, but that's the most famous sound, the one that we all resonate to. The sound is also created by seventh chords. And it's also created a lot of times by shuffles and things like turnarounds and boogie-woogie riffs. I mean, just right there, you're just doing that. I'm only playing one chord. I'm not playing any sort of solos or anything. I'm just shuffling, and I'm doing a boogie-woogie riff. It's things like seventh chords. Has a certain sound to it, a certain bluesy sound. So it's the rhythm, it's the chords, it's the structure of the chords, the progression as I'm teaching here. Everything that we're going to be talking about in these two lessons. And then next week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing blues lead. Okay, so if you want to stick around for learning the blues, you got tomorrow as well. And then next week, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to work on lead work. Okay, so it's going to be blues lead guitar essentials. Okay, so using the blues scale, bending a lot of notes. Those are the main factors. We could go drill down further, but those are the ones that are the main ones, you know. All right. continuing to look, what chords are most played in blues? A lot of minor sevenths, like you've just demoed. Mark, almost always it's dominant seventh chords. Now we can get into some other stuff like The Thrill Is Gone and stuff like that. You know, you've got some minor seventh chords, you've got just a major chord, you've got seventh chords, but the majority of the time, if you took all blues music and summed it down, you'd probably find that 95% of the time those chords are dominant seventh chords and dominant seventh chords only. But with that being said, there are different variations of this as well. Minor seventh is one of them. Yeah. Not a lot of major sevenths though. Renee, thank you so much. UGS is everything. Yay. So glad that you're in there. Okay, great. Yep, this is The Little Sister by B&G. This is a great little blues meister as well. This is seriously a great guitar. Okay. All right, bumping back over to YouTube. Here we go. We seem to be getting the majority of our questions here, but that's okay. We're going to be bouncing back and forth. How can you go from playing chords to making it sound like noodling? Helen's saying. Okay, so Helen, I will defer to the same question as I had before. For me to really show you this, you're going to have to understand G major and C major, which is not hard. I cover this in a video that's in UGS. I cover this in a video that's on YouTube. Just on a piece of paper right now, or do it, open up another tab, go to YouTube and type in YourGuitarSage noodling. Okay, noodling. Specifically, I call it chord noodling. But I will show you exactly how to do that. But there's some little rules to know. But essentially what you're doing is you're playing chords and you're playing melodies, or small little melodies, maybe it's only one or two little notes, that are out of the same key that the chords are in. It has to be in the same key. It's everything. So it's not like I could show you one little thing on a chord, hey, do this, and every single time it works. I mean, yeah, you could do that with octaves, but really, that's not very much of a cool sound, okay? So you have to know something about keys for that to make sense. How much of the quality of strings affects the sound and tone of an electric guitar? If they're old strings, it affects it a lot. It's pretty much the first thing, right? Your strings. If you got really old strings and they're cruddy, it's going to affect it a lot. But if you mean brand, it's not going to matter, okay? Brand does not really matter. Yes, exactly. Robert Johnson, Papa Blues, played on an acoustic. Just saying, you can play the blues on any guitar. Indeed. Not just your 2 cents, James, mine too. You can play blues on anything, and I love acoustic blues. Love it, love it, love it. How do you warm up before playing? Alas, my friend, I do not. I rarely warm up before playing because I just don't have the time to usually. Usually my warm up before playing for you guys is playing. So what I'll do is whatever it is, if I'm doing slow dancing in a burning room, then I'm practicing slow dancing in a burning room. If I was going to do this, I was going to practice to a track, and then I said, you know, I'm just going to play it. So I was just working out those parts and just making sure there was nothing I didn't want to show you, you know, come up with all the little bits and pieces that I wanted to show you, and then just do that, you know. Okay, great. Good questions, friend. How to play guitar one-handed, Daniel is saying. Do you mean like, you know, like that sort of thing, or? I don't know what you mean one-handed. I don't know a lot of one-handed guitar players that are doing it successfully. You got to pick the strings eventually, right? Whether it's with your toes or your mouth or your something, you got to pick them. Otherwise, you're just all doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. But what you're talking about, Daniels, is hammer-ons and pull-offs. I cover that in UGS. In fact, I've got 52-ish, maybe even more than that, 52 lessons on hammer-ons and pull-offs inside of UGS. Okay? So folks that are wanting to develop that, or they're wanting to develop finger picking, I've got a whole day developed to finger picking, or set aside for finger picking, a whole day set aside for music theory, scales, hybrid, or not hybrid picking, economy picking, alternate picking, all sorts. So if you're interested in that, get in the dollar. Do the 30-day dollar bit, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody who's in 365, shout amen, and let folks know that you're in there if it's helping you. Okay, If it's not, let them know that too. No, seriously, let us know if it's helping, because I mean the testimonies that I'm getting every single day. In fact, I just logged in. There was 18 more messages there, and I checked them real late last night. So I'm constantly getting good comments in all the time about 365. But if you're wanting to get to learn to play one-handed and do that, what I'm talking about, then you would do that through learning hammer-ons and pull-offs inside UGS or inside 365. Okay, and you can get there with the Practice August link, YourGuitarSage.com/Practice August. There's the link right there. Cool. All right. Kwame is saying, yeah, thanks. I was more thinking between strumming, so it sounded kind of like you're playing lead between your chords. I usually play by myself, so I'm looking for ways to spice up my playing. Do you understand? Yes, I do, Kwame. Okay, so let's talk about that. So what I'll do is I'll play the chord on the one. So I'll be like... that sort of thing, okay? So what I did there is really I hit the chord for one, and then I played a lead over it for the rest of the two measures. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? So what you could do is you could take that 12-bar blues, and every other measure, you would hit your chord. You'd start on the one, and then you'd skip 2 measures, and then you'd go to the third measure and hit it on the one, and then play something. Specifically, it'd be good if you did it according to the chord. You know what I mean? So as the chord changes, I talk a lot about that inside UGS in the whole blues section. I've got a whole course within a course inside of Unstoppable Guitar System that's all about blues, rhythm, lead playing, minimalistic blues, call and response, building seventh chords, blues scale, pentatonic scale, playing outside the blues scale, chasing the chord. There's just a million things that one can know about blues to make it even sound cooler. So that's what I would recommend doing, Kwame, is, and hopefully I'm saying your name right, Kwame. Do that. You hit the chord, and sometimes if you can't keep up with the beat, then you can always use a metronome or something like that, you know. Or you could go. So just do it every 4 beats, except for that last one there just now. Make sense? So then you hit on the one, and you got 3 beats or whatever. After you hit the one, you've got that amount of time until the next one comes around. You can do that. That's a fun thing to do, you know? All right, good. William is saying a good strum pattern. I got lots of good strum patterns for him. The main one is 1, 2, and 4 and. If you know that one, William, you will literally be able to play like 80% of the pop rock songs that are out there. That's the very last rhythm that's in level 5 that you can find in the strumming video inside the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay, but I've got a whole bunch of strumming rhythms, and we go over them. I teach you how to do this, okay? So make sure you do that. Make sure you check that out, okay? Great. Okay, awesome, awesome. What is the August practice link, please? It's YourGuitarSage.com/Practice August. YourGuitarSage, there it is. YourGuitarSage.com, so that's my website. Practice August, okay, /Practice August. That's how to do it, okay. 28 to 3,500 though, it may end my marriage. If you're talking about the little sister, I think that they've got one that's around the $1,200, $1,300 range. It's more affordable, okay. So you don't have to get up that high. Recommend a good dobro. I don't, Celeste. I don't know much about dobro. Although one of the best, arguably the best dobro player in the world, lives in my neighborhood, lives just a street or two down from me, Rob Ikes, and I actually took a lesson from him because, like, back in the day, a few years ago, I could throw a rock and hit his house. In fact, one of my cats I got out of his yard that was just roaming around there. Nonetheless, I took a dobro lesson with this amazing pro, and I was like, okay, guitar. I'm sticking to guitar. But nonetheless, I don't know much about dobro. Sorry. All right. Do you ever use a travel size guitar? Yes, I have a couple of them. In fact, one of them I'm wanting to give away, and I might do that. I might figure out a giveaway coming up in the future. I've got this really cool Galveston electric guitar that's super small. Like everything is about the same. It's guitar-wise, it's the same. The headstock's a little smaller, and the body is real small, but it's a perfect travel guitar. And then I just bought a Steinberger as well. Just for fun. And you say a travel acoustic. Yes, I have a Martin travel acoustic, and I also have a Taylor travel acoustic, and they're both really cool. Love the B&G. Have you ever played a PVT-60? I have back in the day. If you have, what do you think of the neck? Man, I don't remember. It's thinner than this one, and I had a PV Razor, and I think those necks were all pretty similar, so I remember liking them. Yeah. Mary Beth, it's an awesome course. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. Amen. 365, good. See, we got a bunch of 365 kids in here. Love it. I went to your YourGuitarSage chord noodling, the bearded man, 9 years ago. That's right. Amen. Beautiful. Okay. Love it, love it, love it. You guys have some great comments today. I got an electric guitar. I'm having a bit of difficulty with my playing stance posture. Can you quickly show things I need to consider in difference between acoustic and electric stance? Rehan, I won't, only because, well, I'll show you the basics, but really this is covered in the free course, okay? I really want you to take advantage of that. But if you play classically, it'll be like this. If you play folk-wise, it'll play like this. You can go longer, but what happens is the guitar gets a little bit flimsy when you do this, so you're going to have to kind of tuck it underneath your arm. Make sure that you don't grapple the neck like a shovel, okay? Rehan, watch the third, I think it's the third video in. The first two videos I'm teaching you how to buy an acoustic and then an electric guitar, teaching you even if you don't know anything about guitars. And then I get into how you should be sitting, your stance, your posture, all that stuff, okay? But watch that because there's more detail in that, okay? I know sometimes folks are like, why don't you just give us all the details now? Because literally it would be the Rehan show or it'd be the Scott show. And I would sit here and I'd show you what I would in a one-on-one lesson, and then the show would be over. So this is why I have to go, hey, let's get everybody answered, but here's where I want you to go. So hopefully you guys appreciate that I'm trying to help you out more than by literally taking, usurping all the time for one question, answering it when I have answered it already. Make sense? Hopefully you guys understand that. Thank you. What's a good blues pedal, a classic one like Muddy Waters sound? Well, I've got a few. I've got many. In fact, one that I'm working on right now, but there's lots. The Tube Screamer by Maxon or Ibanez. The OCD by Fulltone. I've got one that's basically a combo of both of those styles with my own twists and my own little bits that we're working on for. That's going to be coming out soon from Kurtronics. And otherwise, the other one, Pride of Texas, that I just demoed, that's a Dan Electro. I gave one of those away. Gave 4 of those away actually this weekend, along with the Les Paul and the other $6,000 worth of good stuff. So yeah, that was a great one. The Pride of Texas, it's called. Okay. Great. Okay, still looking for questions. I'm looking for question marks. I'm skipping over anything that doesn't have a question mark over it. I just can't see it that quack. I can't see it that quick, and I've got to, this thing's moving like this. What sounds do you use the most in your Line 6 M5? So I mainly use it for a noise gate, believe it or not. I use it mainly for a noise gate, and then I use it basically just to barely gate out the sound if I have a pedal that may be a little bit noisy. It's just barely on, just to take that out to where it doesn't affect the sound. That's what I do, Mary Beth. And then the rest of the time I'll use it for anything that I can't do with any of my other pedals on my board. Okay. Should I start with a free program I have prior to signing up for the $199 program? Should I start with the free program I have prior to signing up to $199 program? Helen is saying. Helen, it depends. Here's the deal. It's $199 just for today. Normally we're talking a $400 program, okay? She's saying, should I do the free program before signing up for $199? It's that way to the end of midnight tonight, okay? But it has the free course in there. In fact, that's how we started off, is that free course. Why? Because that is essentially, we didn't used to give this away. It's just literally where every guitar player since the beginning of time should have started, because those are the most important videos, that beginning part there, okay? Really, truly. So, at the same time, if you're serious about it, Helen, and you want to take advantage of the offer today, then I say get in there. Otherwise, you're going to buy the course at $400, or when we do another discount, then you could do it then. But like I say, the 30 are going to be in there whether or not you buy the course. It's there. The 30 are in the free 30, but they're also in the $199 course. Today, up till midnight, it's $199. Tomorrow, it's back to $400. So that's what if you're serious about it, if you know you're going to do it, it's just like waiting, then I'd say take advantage of it today, by all means. If you're like, I don't know about this guy, you can still get in there, and if you don't like it within 30 days, we'll give you 100% of your money back, no questions asked. That is literally, like, we are not in the business of taking people's money, okay? So if you want in there, get in there. Otherwise, the 30 are available for you. Cool? All right. And basically the way it works is if you're in there for 30 days and you like it, then great, you keep going at whatever you signed up for, okay? Every now and then we get some Yahoo in there who said, I never signed up for these. Well, yeah, you did, because you gave us your email and you gave us your credit card to do the dollar offer, and then you did. You signed up. I promise you did. You forgot. So every now and then we get somebody like that in there, but 99% of the folks in there, they're like, yes, I'm in here, I'm in it to win it. So, Stratocaster, how long have I been gay? I'm not gay. Got a lot of gay friends. I wear dresses, put makeup on every now and then, but that doesn't make me gay. No, I'm not gay. I've got lots of gay friends, and no, I don't wear a dress and I don't wear makeup. I'm wearing a little right now, but no, not true. So, not sure what you mean by that, Stratocaster. Eric, is there anything you would change about that B&G? Byron, no, I just love having a different kind of guitar. You know what I mean? So, like, there's nothing I would change about it. To me, I'm not one of those guys that really likes, on my custom guitar, I'm going to do everything that I want it to be, but other than that, I just like a guitar to be different. I love to pick up a guitar and have it, it's like driving different cars, right? Advice for someone who just watched the 30 free lessons. Carlos, watching the 30 free lessons is one thing. Doing the exercises and making sure that you have not left anything on the table. See, watching the videos isn't going to do anything for you. And I'm not saying this that you're just watching them. But what I'm saying is, if you watch the first 30 lessons, great. But if you don't know everything that I talked about in those first 30 lessons, you might as well have not wasted the time watching them, because it doesn't do you any good. You got to go back and make sure that you know all of that stuff. That, Carlos, those first 30 lessons are your foundation for everything that you're going to be doing on guitar the rest of your life. So if you're serious about guitar and you really do want to be good at it, go back, watch those 30 lessons, do everything in them, make sure you really have it down. If you don't have it down, you don't know it. I hear Tony Robbins say that all the time. He says, if you know it and you don't do it, you don't know it. Okay, I'm not saying that's you, Carlos. I'm saying for those that are just like, I'm watched them, So go back, make sure you got all that stuff, Carlos. Make sure you really have it down. And then after that, Carlos, get into UGS, get into 365, get into those. If you don't have the money for that, at least test drive it for 30 days so you can see what it's all about, and so that you can get some more lessons. Now, you can only do that one time. It's not like you can do that every month. But at least you'll have some more lessons, and at least I can help you for $1, right? Okay. How was I not aware of this happening this morning? Are Wednesdays and Thursday webcasts going to be regular thing with you for a while? Jerry, that's what we're trying to do. Yes, we're trying to up it. Okay, we're trying to up how much we give, how much we do, how much we're helping people. So we've been just doing Thursdays. Now we're saying Wednesday and Thursday. We're upping it. Okay, so yes, and we're planning on being here next week as well. Where next week we're doing blues lead guitar essentials. Okay, today and tomorrow is blues rhythm guitar essentials. Cool. Okay, Mike is saying, I'm struggling with getting the major pentatonic sound for like Southern rock. Mike is saying, okay, Mike, remember, here's probably what you're running into, okay? When we have something, say like in a minor key, like, let's see. So now we got this in a minor key. I could play minor blues, right? So we got all that minor sounding stuff, right? But when we have something major, see, happening is your tonal center is changing. So whereas you know, now this is I did this here in the key of D, okay, and I'm playing D major pentatonic, right? D minor pentatonic would be like this. D major pentatonic would be taking that same form, and where my first finger is, I put my pinky and I play the same form. Right? So that part I'm sure you have already, Mike. But what happens is those folks that are used to playing in minor pentatonic and then they go to major pentatonic, they're used to playing their licks around that minor tonal center. And so because of that, everything's backwards when you're playing major pentatonic. So if this is your tonal center, and I was playing, you know, let's say I'm playing C, D minor pentatonic. Well, my tonic is the 1, and also that note there, you know what I mean? Makes sense? But if it's major pentatonic, D is still our note, you know, our tonal center, but now it's in a different place because we've moved the scale. Now it's here at our pinkies and our first finger. You know? Or the pinky. So now our tonal center has changed. Does that make sense? So that's something that you need to be aware of. That number one thing will literally help you so much in getting better at the major blues, okay? All right, great. Have you heard of ESP grassroots guitars? Are they any good? I don't know. I'm sorry, Rahan, I don't know about that. But I mean, I've played ESPs before, and yeah, and they were pretty good guitars. Get the 199 and do it all. Jimmy and I have been talking. We've been talking every day the last few days inside the system. Any advice for coming up with solos on the spot? Fluffy, join us next week because we'll be talking about that. I'll be talking all about how to play solos on the spot. Basically, it's called improvisation, but you got to know what's being played, and then you got to know what to play, and that magic combination will allow you to play solos on the spot. Okay, obviously it's practice, but there's things to know. Okay, okay. Yeah, just did the $1 and was just waiting for the $1.99 sale. Awesome, jumped on the 3 payment deal, which was an extra bonus. Yay, love it. Thank you. UGS system is okay if you're serious about learning guitar. Yay, thank you so much, Matt or Mark. Thank you, buddy. A lot of folks in the program here, so thank you for letting other folks know. Do you have any advice for how to find your sound on the guitar? Celeste, your sound is, you already have your sound on the guitar. You already do. It's impossible not to. You pick it a certain way, you fret it a certain way, you have certain emotions in you, patterns that are in your mind, so you already do this, Celeste. Don't worry about coming up with your own sound. You've got your own sound. Now what you need to do, Celeste, is just get better and better and better. With practice, you're going to find your own sound, but really, truly, it has to do with what do you like. So if you like Angus Young and Jimmy Page and Steve Vai, you know, well, you got 2 blues players and a guy who does everything, more of a rock player. Well, now you got a little combo. It's like a recipe. And if you like all those 3 guys and you're practicing those licks, then chances are Celeste is going to be a combination of all that stuff. Okay. When I play, there's a lot of influences that come out of stuff that I love, guys that I love, gals that I love. So same thing. You have your own sound. You just want to develop it. You know. Does that make sense? Does the B&G set like Les Paul? I find the Les Paul to be heavy on the body. It wants to fall off my lap without a strap. No, it's very light, Mark, indeed. And it depends on your Les Paul. My Les Paul, I've got 2 of them here right now. The one that I gave away this weekend, which is going away either today or tomorrow if we got the guy's address. Tony, I think we do. Yeah, I saw his message. So that's going away today. But I got 3 Les Pauls. Sorry, forgot I had another one here. And I'm giving that one away too, coming up. Oh, it's a real nice one. I'm giving that away, probably somewhere around Christmas time. The Dark Fire. Oh, it's beauty. Anyhow, none of my Les Pauls are heavy. They're all nice and light. Not a blues question. Can a guitar be too big for the player? I used to play Fender Electrics. Recently I bought an Epiphone Dreadnought. The neck is great body, but it feels awkward. Jerry, it may feel that way right now for you, unless you're like 3.5 feet tall. I'd say no, don't worry about it. If you are 3.5 feet tall or 4 foot or something like that, then yeah. Yeah, because it's really about you getting better at playing, you know? Does that make sense? It'll make you feel more comfortable eventually. So can you have a guitar that's too big for you? I suppose. Is it comfortable for you, you know? So there you go. Okay, I've been playing an open D and I want to learn to make up my own stuff using that tuning like Vestipool or Buckets of Rain by Bob Dylan. Any advice? Yeah, you're saying open D, you mean drop D? Are you playing an open D or drop D? So any advice for playing in those open tunings is just to play in those open tunings, learn songs by players who are using those open tunings, because that's going to get you to understand the way to think about that. Every open tuning is different, so it's important that you're following songs that have been written in those open tunings to take advantage of why it is that they put that song in an open tuning. Do you think the electronics adversely affect the unplugged sound on acoustic that offers both versions? Do you think the electronics adversely affect the unplugged sound on acoustics that offer both versions? No, it does not. It does not affect it, if any. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem with live chats. Can we stick to guitar-related topics and questions? No, not when there are people that are seeking significance. So that's what you get. That's what you get in cyberspace. You get a lot of searchers looking for attention. It happens. It's okay. We can have pity. Have pity for them. Okay. Thank you, Daddy Eric. You are welcome, son. Okay, Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah, that was the basic riff that I was doing there, you know. Okay, great, great. I love the question marks. Thank you guys for doing that. Is it better to buy a secondhand guitar or invest in a really nice new one? Fluffy, I love buying used guitars. I don't even like buying used. I don't like buying new guitars if I can help it. I don't like doing it because there's something cool about. Now this was a new guitar and I didn't mind it. I didn't mind when this showed up in the mail, but for the most part, I like used guitars. I like that they've been. It's like there's a reason that they're sticking around, that they've been played in the whole 9 yards. So I like secondhand guitars. You get them for about half price too on Craigslist, or at least I do. I don't buy a guitar on Craigslist unless I can get it for about half of what I can get it for in the store. Okay, good. Dogs that want to lean against your guitar while playing. Yeah, dogs love that. Okay, I'm jumping over to, are the modes relevant to rhythm guitar? No, not per se. I mean, not really, because I mean, chords and scales, I mean, it's all the same. It's just notes on the neck, right? So like, yeah, sure, scales and chord, but most of the time when people are talking about modes, they're talking about single melodies. They're talking about improvisation and stuff like that. It's not that you would use the word modes very often when you're talking about playing rhythm guitar. Now you might say, well, this chord is this kind of chord, so I'm going to play this type of mode over it. But now, when you're talking about rhythm guitar, you really wouldn't do that too much. You wouldn't be talking about that. Cool? Okay, great. Bumping over to Facebook, making sure that I've got those folks taken care of, okay? Sage, have you ever tried an Epiphone Blues Hawk, and if so, what's your opinion? I haven't. I'm sorry, Scott, I have not. There's so many guitars yet to try, you know? Okay, and Andrew said, what defines the blues song? We did that one, right? Okay. Cool. I'm going to hit refresh on Facebook because it seems like we should be having more comments than that. But I'm gonna see. Okay. Yeah, I was right. No, I wasn't. That's all it is on Facebook. Okay, bouncing back over to YouTube. We seem to be getting a lot more questions on YouTube right now, so I'll stick there for a little bit. Okay, can you show the first blues lick I should learn on the electric guitar? The first blues lick. I would say to do something like, Chuck Berry, like a. And the way I'm doing that is I've got my first finger on strings 1 and 2. At the 5th fret, I'm starting at the 4th fret and I'm picking it, and I'm sliding up real quick. And then I hit it 2 more times. So I'm going. It's like a Chuck Berry bit. Bending from this note, your ring finger, bending that guy up, to this is a real nice sound. I'd say 50% of what I play is right in this area right here. This guy likes to be bent a little bit too, just a little bit. So if you know the scale, okay, which I'm going to give you next week when we're talking about the lead stuff, then you'll be able to know. We'll talk about this kind of stuff. You can bend this guy just a little bit. Here it is up high. So there's all sorts of licks that you can learn, and in fact, inside of UGS, I have a whole blues section, a whole section on rhythms and bits and pieces, and then licks and the whole 9 yards, a ton of stuff. Okay, so if you're serious about blues and you want to get in the course at a discount, it's half off right now. It's $199. You get everything in UGS, everything in 365. YourGuitarSage.com/practice August. Okay. Otherwise, if you wanted to test drive it first, you can go to that same URL and find what I'm talking about. Okay. And then you can test drive it all for 30 days. But the deal won't. The deal's gone tonight. Okay. There's the link right there, my friends. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Many people knock the Squiers and Epiphones. Are they that bad? Anne Marie is saying. Anne Marie, whatever you can afford is what you can afford. My first guitar was $250, and which was a fairly decent guitar at the time. It still is a PV Razor. It's a decent guitar. But bottom line, it's what I could afford. It's what my dad could afford. My dad bought it for me. I couldn't afford it. My dad bought it for me for Christmas. It was a beautiful gift. Probably the best gift I've ever had in my life. And it's what I could afford. So it doesn't matter what they say. Usually the they that are saying this is bad and that's bad and the other thing are people that are overcompensating for them sucking on guitar. Oh, if I had these strings, or if I had a better guitar, a better amp, I'd be playing a lot better. Yeah, sure you would, champ. Because you can give a crappy guitar to a great guitar player, and they're going to make it sound great. Bottom line. So a lot of people, they lean on that stuff, and they say, this is terrible, If what you can afford is a Squier, then great. I mean, I've got lots of expensive guitars here. I also have a lot of cheap guitars. I mean, this is a $299 guitar, right? And I've got cheaper guitars in here. I've got $100 guitars. In fact, that travel guitar was a $100 guitar. So I'm not afraid of buying a cheap guitar if it plays well. This is why the first two videos inside UGS, inside the free course that I'm giving you today, both of those, I talk about how to understand how to buy a guitar without being like, okay, now what kind of wood is this? It's not very quilted. And people getting all into this stuff that they don't even know what they're saying, and they're thinking that really it matters, and it's going to make their playing better. It's not going to make their playing better. If they suck, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if it's laminate or balsa wood or anything. If they suck as a player, ain't no amount of wood and dollars. You could put a $300,000 '58 Les Paul in their hands, and it's still going to sound like crap. You put a piece of crap guitar in John Bonamassa' hands, it's going to sound great. Okay, so it has to do with the player. And really, are they that bad? The ones that I don't like are the ones where the frets are not even finished. So where when you run your hand across it, it almost feels like you're going to cut your fingers. Like that's a sign of poor workmanship. Obviously, they're trying to pump these things out at a cheap price. So I love it when people say, what's the best guitar for the cheapest price? Those two don't belong in the same sentence. Best and cheapest. They don't belong in the same sentence. You can have the best, or you can have the cheapest, but you don't get the best and cheapest. And you're not the first guy to think about that one, okay? So that being said, when I run my fingers across it, if I can feel that I'm getting cut by these frets, that means they really tried to get that guitar into a box and into your hands for as cheap as possible. Don't like those guitars. That's like 100 to, it used to be like up to the $200 range. Now they're doing great guitars at $200, and now it's probably like the $100 range guitars. So it's crazy what they're able to produce for how cheap now. Back in the day, a $200 guitar was not a very good guitar. Now they're doing great things with $200. So, but you buy what you can afford, and you just play it with love, and you're gonna be good. But I do understand the question too. It's important. Okay. Looking for question marks. Chuck Berry is more like rockabilly, no? No, I'd say he was definitely blues. That's where Rolling Stones got their sound from, and a slew of others. He definitely was blues. Okay, I've been learning guitar for 3.5 years, and I have not learned a song yet. Is that normal? It's normal if you've never tried to learn a song, but I would say it's not what you want to do because, Mike, bottom line, people want to hear songs out of you. They don't care if you know 1,000 scales and 1,000,000 chords. No one gives a crap. No one cares how fast you can play an exercise. The reason you're doing those things is so that you can execute chords and scales and solos and music and beautiful music and move souls. That's what people want. So Mike, do that. Learn a song today. I've got 1,000-something videos on YouTube. Type in, Your Guitar Sage Elvis or Your Guitar Sage Clash or whatever it is that you're into, and then I'll teach you a song, real simple songs. They're not hard, and then you'll be off to the races. But that's what you want to do. Learn a bunch of songs because that's what people want, okay? It's a great question. Okay, how do you create a chord progression for a specific scale or mode? James, okay, so here's the deal. A specific chord progression or a specific scale. How do you create a chord progression for a specific scale or mode? You don't really. What I mean by that is if I took 1,000 chord progressions that were in a major key, then I could play the major scale over all of them. I could also play the minor scale over all of them. I could also play all of the modes over them, depending on what key I play them in. What I'm saying is that you don't really create a chord progression according to the scale. You might have a chord progression, then you might say, well, this scale will work over that chord progression really nicely, or this scale will work nice over that part of the chord progression, but then for that chord, I'm going to need to bring in this other scale. It's more like you have the chord progression, then you say the scale goes on top of that. Does that make sense? I want to learn a song by The Doors. Any recommendations? Celeste, one of my favorite songs is Before You Slip Into Unconsciousness, Crystal Ship, I think it's called, and I teach that one. I love that one. That's one of my favorite songs, and also another one of my favorite songs is Roadhouse Blues, and I have a lesson for that. So Celeste, if you're looking for an acoustic song, a nice soft song, then learn Crystal Ship, because I teach that one on YouTube. And then if you're wanting electric and you're really wanting to get into those Krieger licks and all that stuff, then check out Roadhouse Blues. I've got a version of that. Just type in Your Guitar Sage Doors. I may have others, but I know for sure I've got those two. Okay? Okay, great. Okay. All right. Good questions. I buy Squires for $50 and clean up the frets, change the pickups, and then turn them into I'm not sure what those prices are that you're saying, Mike, there. Surely not $15,000 to $3,000, $1,500 to $3,000, because you'd have to be putting gold in them. What are you doing to them, Mike, that anybody would pay $1,500? You'd have to tell me, because cleaning them up and putting new pickups in it is about $100 to $200 upgrade, maybe. But you mean 150 to 300 is probably what you mean. And if so, that's a great business, Mike, and a great service because people really could use that. If you're getting 1,500 for 3,000, Mike, call me because you've got great skills and I want to know about them. Seriously, I'm not joking. That's amazing if you're doing that. How do I tune an electric guitar? I don't have a tuner. Rahan, if you look on YouTube, type in Your Guitar Sage tuner. I actually have a video to tune your guitar that will help you with that. Is it better to learn riffs and solos than practice scales all day? Yes, indeed. Because really it's all about riffs and solos, right? It's all about those sounds. It's about getting good at making music, right? Not about just riffing, okay? Wow, man, we are almost 2 hours into this. I'm just gonna get to a couple more, my friends, and then we're ending in 5 minutes, okay? This has been great. We've gone so fast, it just only feels like an hour to me. Okay, still waiting on the Journey music in UGS. John, you're going to be waiting a long time, my friend, because I don't teach I don't teach songs in UGS because of copyrights. Because of copyright restrictions, I won't get into all the details. So, no Journey songs coming in UGS. You're going to be waiting a while, my friend. Sorry. But there's tons of folks teaching Journey on YouTube. Tons of folks. So you shouldn't have to wait. It's all there, my friend. Tons of stuff. Okay, a couple questions here on Facebook, then we'll wrap it up, okay? We're not very chatty on Facebook today. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. What strings do you have on that little sister? They seem to be bendy. Very nice. They told me when they sent it to me. Yeah, made in Israel. They told me when they sent it to me, but honestly, I don't know. They feel like 9s or 10s. I'd say they're probably 9s. Yeah. I'd say that's probably pretty accurate. Okay, we'll go 4 more minutes. If there's any other questions, we'll do that. Otherwise, as I'm waiting for any last questions here, guys, couple things. The deal is going away tonight. If you at all are serious about getting in the Unstoppable Guitar System, or if you're on the fence, you've got 30 days to get out. So if you're just like, I really want to take advantage of this deal, it's half off. It's like putting $200 in my pocket and I get lessons for the rest of my life. And he's got so many lessons and jam tracks in there anyhow, I'm never going to run out of lessons, and I'm serious about guitar. Like, if you're like that, then yeah, you need to go hit this link, go to, or type in that link, Practice August, YourGuitarSage.com/Practice August, and take advantage of it, because friends, it's going away at midnight tonight, okay? Otherwise, if you're like, I don't know, this guy seems real shifty to me. He's only been playing and teaching for like 30 years. He could be gone tomorrow. And if you're like that, okay, I understand. There are skeptics in the world. Then take advantage of the dollar offer. The dollar offer allows you everything that these other folks are paying $199 for, except you're only going to get it for 30 days. You get to test drive the Tesla, if you will, okay? You get to test drive it, get in there and say, this is way too much for me. I'm learning too much, and this guy's too nice. I'm out of here. And then you can get out, and then the only thing you would have paid is $1. Otherwise, you would continue on the course as to whatever you signed up for the day that you signed up for the dollar special, okay? Now, if you're one of those people that's like, $1? I don't have no dollar, Eric. I can't afford $1. Dollar here, dollar there. If you're that guy, then go to YourGuitarSage.com/30, okay? By the way, if you want to get in for $1, you can still use this link, the Practice August, okay? Just everything is that. I think the 30 special may be in there. Otherwise, you go to YourGuitarSage.com/30, get the top 30 lessons I teach all my students. It's 100% free. There's no credit card. There's no nothing. It's just, you get it. Why did I do that? Because I get thousands of questions a month that can be answered by that free course. And I just want to so badly just hook people up with that. I tell them about it, but they still are looking for something magical to come out of my mouth, and it will in the course that I've created specifically, where I was in the zone for those specific videos and what I was trying to teach. Make sense? So you got all that stuff. Best $200 ever spent, both UGS and 365. Thank you, 52K-Log. I appreciate that. Okay, so you know where to go. Also, the last thing I want you to do too is share. Share this, my friends, right now. Share it, because if you do, even if you're selfish, if you're not selfish, you're going to share it, right? You're going to share it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those places, YouTube. And if you are selfish and you're just like, I ain't doing nothing for free, well, then one person's going to win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System, the $400 deal, right? It's $200 today, ends at midnight, but it's normally $400. So someone's going to win that. And we do this whenever we do these live broadcasts now. Yeah, isn't that cool? So there's so many ways to win, okay? Okay, what's my sound card? I'm not using a sound card. This is just mic'd up, if that's what you're saying. All right, Kevin, just signed up for the UGS deal. Yes, I drank the Kool-Aid. And it is tasty, my friend. And if you don't like it, then you get to have the Kool-Aid and get your money back. So how cool is that? If you get in there for 30 days and you don't like it, you got to sip on the Kool-Aid for 30 days, and I give you your Kool-Aid money back. So it's pretty cool, right? My friends, you guys rule, and there's some awesome questions. I'm just jumping over real quick to make sure. Oh, Billy Gibbons uses 6s. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. I didn't even know they made 6s. 6s. Holy cow, that's thin. Can't even see those strings. Okay, and there's nothing else there on, thank you, Noah. There's nothing else there on Facebook. So, friends, we're done. No more questions. You guys, I love you. You guys rule. Thank you so much. You know, these times, they're so precious to me. I really, truly dig it. And like I said, it just felt like an hour to me. I just love doing this so much. It's really a blast, and you guys always bring it every single time. Please let me know how I can help you. If the only thing you do is take advantage of the free 30 offer, then do that. Otherwise, I've told you all the other stuff. And if you haven't already, if you just showed up, then make sure you download the PDF so that you can watch this video again, learn some blues rhythms. Okay, now tomorrow we're going to get the part 2 of this, which is going to be boogie woogie riffs and boogie woogie turnarounds. Okay, work on the stuff we talked about today. Please, 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 please do, because then tomorrow when we add this other stuff, you're going to be like, holy crap, Eric, I'm playing the blues and I love it and I'm pouring my soul out and this is so fun. So do it, do it, do it so that we can work on this stuff tomorrow and rock out with our socks out. And then in 1 week from today, we're going to start the blues lead guitar essentials. It'll be a 2-part special there where I'll be teaching you scales, riffs, all that good stuff. Okay, so join me that day. And my friends, I'm out of here. I love you. See ya.